It's the anniversary of Logan's Run. Well, the film. Obviously not the book. That will be next year. The book came out back in 1967, and here it is, Logan's Run. Though that was the hardback, of course, that came out in 1967, and it's by William F. Nolan and George Clayton Johnson. And this is a manhunt through a utopian nightmare of tomorrow's world. This is from Corgi Book, 1970 copy. And there were too many people and not enough food and all those sorts of things. Crystal flowers in adults, all those over 14, the crystal shone crimson. And when the crimson turned to black, it was time to report to the sleep shop. Now, obviously slightly different from the film. Those who didn't report for annihilation, that says it all. Those who tried to escape were hunted down by the deep sleep men and exterminated. Logan was a deep sleep man, efficient, fast, cruel, etc., etc. He didn't want to die. And that was the first book. I loved it. Absolutely brilliant. I loved the film as well. I watched the film about 10 times, I think, back in 1976. It was great just going back to the cinema multiple times and sitting watching that. But also I've read the book multiple times as well. A brilliant book, very different from things. There's some bits that are very similar, but there's also a lot of it that's not. Obviously 21 in the book, 30 because of the actors in the film. But it was just, I think, one of my favourites. Always a favourite. Logan Search, now I've got that the wrong way around. There's Logan's World, that came out. This is good as well. Thorough enjoyment. This is the sequel. And you've got here, Last Battle burned the planet to a charred husk, leaving only a scattered tribes, etc., etc. And also this one is a nice one because it's got a parallel Earth. It goes back sort of into the same story. Your 21st birthday is your last day. Parallel Earth is a dazzling paradise, terrifying computerized society. Great opportunity just to basically do the story again. But it was well done and thoroughly enjoyable. I loved it. So that's those. Now, it's been done in comic books quite a few times, and I'm just going to go through some of the comic books. You've got here, Logan's Run, Last Day. Now, the artwork in some of these books and the comic books has varied. I think this one is quite decent, and you can see the story there. It's got a thing. It's quite violent. I'm not saying it's not, but it's got a lot of backstory, which is really good. So there's some story there showing a bit of the early years. And also I've got this one, which is a sort of manga sort of look. It isn't a manga one, but it's still, I always wonder whether they've ever done a Logan's Run in Japan. I mean, it's quite possible, or Korea maybe someone's done a version. I would love to see that. But it's this one, very sort of similar style, I think, stylish, I would say. Now, it's quite weird because you've got the cover here looking, obviously, I mean, Jessica, is that Jessica? I don't, who knows? However, you can see inside it's slightly different. I think they're up for renewal probably about 10, 15 years later, but certainly not straight away because they clearly look about 14 or 15 in that. On to the next one. Again, you can see the story obviously there, slightly different than and you've got some very odd bits here with sort of even the characters are, it's done very different, but it was still good. I still thoroughly enjoyed it. And definitely, if you want to check this book out, I think Logan's Run is worth checking out, this one. Definitely a good little story, but again, very violent. Let's just move that way. Logan's Run, I've got this one here, another one obviously continuing the story. Logan's Run again. That is what you call the cover, isn't it? But however, we've got also another series. Got a bit confusing with all the different ones. There's Last Day, there's Aftermath, and these are from obviously Blue Water here, and you can see. Now, the artwork in this was very different. I'm not saying it was awful, but it was different and not particularly my favourite style of artwork. I mean, it's very dark, very sort of, but still, it was absolutely fine. And again, Aftermath. And they continued on with quite a few, and you can see there more of the story there. There, the characters. It's, again, a very odd story. We've got Aftermath there. You've got another Aftermath there. And Last Day, he obviously goes there to, and you've got writers and artists there. Now, which one again? This is again Blue Water. I think they changed at some point, so there might be some. I'll quickly show you the new name. And you can see there that one as well. And let's just go through those. You can see there, Logan, and a bit more of Last Day. And again, I think this is really good series and worth checking out anyway. I wouldn't say it's the masterpiece of Logan's Run. This is great. This is a Past Perfect. I really enjoy Past Perfect. I haven't got lots of them, but everyone I've got, I've always, I don't know if they've done any more Logan's Run, but this one is definitely perfect. And you can see there, Logan there, it's got some Logan, and you've got some pictures, you've got obviously some text about the films, etc., which I think is just great. Obviously, the classic scene there, which I always thought, what a computer system, it falls apart. Sorry, a little bit of spoiler there. And, oh, of course, you've got the box storyline. Now, that was one of the bits that was apparently sort of changed in the film, although very minimal amount of change, but obviously people always mention that one. And you've got Peter Ustinov, which I have to say is not some of my favourite bits, even though the idea of with Peter Ustinov and in Washington is great. I just think that it's just not particularly realistic. And even the end bit just always has left me a bit sort of, But even so, the film, I absolutely love it, even though I will probably sit there and think every bit of it is just plain odd. But I still love it. And I know, next on TV, I don't know if there was, no, that's it. Obviously, I assume the next issue had something maybe with Logan's Run, the TV series. And now, let's just go over here. And I'm assuming you've watched the film. You must have seen the film. If you come into this, you've probably seen the film. Therefore, sorry, any spoilers that I mentioned about Logan's Run, he runs. That's a bit weird. But also, yeah, it's going to be easy enough to see what happened later on from the film. You got here, welcome to the 23rd century. Includes an A3 travel poster. Why couldn't they have included a booklet? Why couldn't they include something else? But no, they included an A3 travel poster. But still, it's good. And here's the film, Logan's Run. You can see inside, it's got slightly different inside. Looks more like the original sort of there. And you got there, of course, Logan and Jessica. Jazzily effective. That's a weird one. And even poetic. Logan's Run is fun. I'm not certain. Is that fun? I'm not certain it was fun. It was pretty violent in places. And the early scenes, obviously, people could even look at and say, is that fun? I do not think so. However, it does come with a few audio documentaries, extras, etc. And also a featurette showing a few bits and pieces of the film that apparently are lost. Well, obviously those bits not, but there's definitely a lot of things that are lost of the Logan's Run film, apparently. And here's some copies I made ages ago, or I don't know where I got them from. Probably someone gave them to me. I know that Logan's Run, this is, and I don't know how many episodes there were. I can't remember now. How many episodes? Probably up to about 15 episodes. And that was it. Logan's Run back in the day, 70s. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Rem. I enjoyed all the characters in that. Now, Logan's Run has a checkered history of various attempts that they're going to do it again. They all often hearing about that. But they have been continuing to do various books and things and related. But this is obviously the comic books. This is the graphic novel of the Aftermath one. And this is again William F. Nolan's Logan's Run. Again, the artwork is okay. It's not a favourite of mine. Again, I would have to say it's fine. It's fine, but it's no. And I thought the series as it went on, and they brought out other ones like Solo and a few had Black Flower, and the artwork just sort of wasn't what I really liked. So that's it. And this is it. Black Flower talking about that. And you can see here, you've got Black Flower. And it sort of was not my sort of favourite art, but the story was fine still. I still enjoyed the story, what it offers. I thought it was good. But the artwork, not my cup of tea. But still, Logan, I would buy anything. Logan. Apparently, there's also some, there's an audio one, I think. There's an audio Logan's Run or something. Or an online one. There's some other things of Logan. I haven't got all of the things. I say I haven't got the Solo one, definitely. This one's the Last Day one. Again, I've got that obviously in the original comic book as well. I like this in many ways. I like both. I don't normally keep the comic and the book. Most often I will probably get rid of one or the other. But it's in this, the artwork and everything about it is actually slightly different, even though because of the way they've done it, they printed it. It sort of looks like it's like printed off a inkjet. For me, to my eyes, it looks like an inkjet printer has done this. It's very odd, but the story is great. I really love it. Very enjoyable and worth getting again. And this one is a rebirth. Now, I haven't got the comic books of this one, but this actually looks quite good as well. And it's actually, I haven't read this for a while. I read it when it came out. It looks okay, but again, the artwork does get a bit clunky. For my eyes, I would have to say it's not my favourite. Just casually looking through that, I must sit down and reread it again. Now, this one is something that was, just as soon as I saw this online, I thought, oh, I must get this. I bought all of the look-ins that had Logan's Run. This one has also got Battlestar Galactica. I don't really remember reading the Battlestar Galactica. I'm certain I did, but I don't recall it. But this is great because someone has put them all into this wonderful little book, and you've got Logan's Run. Obviously, there you can see it's the TV series, not film, of course. So you've got that, Logan's Run. You've got a little picture there at the top there, but you've got the story, and just great. Just the complete run. And I would love to see someone bring out an actual proper book of this. And there a lot of series of these looking ones do seem to be getting that sort of treatment. So hopefully at some point a proper, really nice quality one. I don't know. I can't recall if it was done in colour or black and white. I don't think it was in black and white. I might be wrong on that. I haven't got any actual look-ins with it, so I can't recall if it was colour or not. And some of them look like black and white. This one looks black and white, but some look like they probably are coloured. I don't know. Can't say. Really can't say on that. But still worth checking out if you can find a copy of this. This is Spotlight Comics Features, and they've done a lovely printing of that. And there is the ISBN number if anyone wants to know the ISBN number of that. And here's another one connected to Logan's Run, the TV series. The TV series, again, in my favourite magazine, or along with the past perfect ones, the Infinity magazine. And I don't know where the one is. Of course, they've got a little poster as well. I love the fact they include a poster. I've never taken them out. And maybe I should, but then again, I don't know what I'd do with them. I'd put them on the wall and then they'd fall off at some point. So it's best probably keep them in the magazine now. Oh, there it is. I knew it was somewhere. It often is close to things. They always have these Blu-rays and things, and I was looking, oh, that one, I haven't got that one. But there it is, Logan Unlucky. I love that. Logan Unlucky. And this was issue 22, quite an early issue. Now, I don't know if they brought out a Logan's Run. I was looking to see if they'd done one for the film. Now, it's quite possible they have, but I don't know if it's an issue. Please put in the comments below if you do know of the issue. But I did enjoy this one. Again, the series, there was a few bits of it that sort of overlapped the series. Not much, but few bits. I think they could have done more. And I suspect if the film had been given a chance and gone on, there's obviously the and here's the looking ones, of course. And what's that one? That's the Circus. You know what? I don't remember that magazine. Circus magazine. That magazine passed me by. So that is the Infinity one, and that's great. Also connected with the Blue, and I was going to say which one. Oh yes, Tidal Wave. That's what it was. I couldn't think what it was. I was thinking, what is it? I was thinking Tidal, something. Tidal kept on coming to mind, but Tidal Wave, this thing. This is the adult colouring book. I know. What more do you want? But the thing is about it, it's actually got the stories in it again, or certainly some of it. Anyway, you can see the story, but you could colour it. I haven't coloured it. I haven't gone through it and coloured it. And you can see there some of the bits there, and I assume that looks like some of the pencil work as well, which is really good. Maybe the pencil work. Now, I don't know. Maybe was this actually brought out? Because I don't recall this scene. It's possible. It looks like the pencil work for that, which I think is quite nice actually to introduce pencil work. And you've got there Logan, obviously there. The story, like again, a bit more of obviously the early years. We assume obviously that's a Logan there. And adult colouring book. Can't beat that sort of thing, can you? However, with all those, there's probably a lot more. So please, again, in the comments, if you know of some other things of Logan, what I would love to see, and which of course is not available, I don't think, an art of Logan's Run. Now, there's lots of forums, apparently, lots of Facebook places, Instagram, whatever, Pinterest, I guess, where there's lots of bits of the places, obviously all the scenes of the thing, discussion about bits that were missing, etc. Probably photos of the actual place, the centre where they did it. So that would be worth checking out as well. And obviously probably an archive of all the film posters, because I imagine it was around the world. They all had different film posters. So that would be great to check out as well. But I don't have the links to those. I have looked over the years. over bits and pieces of Logan's Run. So Logan's Run, this is of course the classic Marvel Comics series, issue 1, and I love this. I remember getting it at the time, of course, George Perez artwork, just brilliant. And it does have scenes that, of course, you've got this scene here. So slightly different from, and then you of course got into the scene here, and then we're on to, oops, and I ripped the thing. That's a good way of ripping the comic. Hey, I love that. Whenever I do a video, I always end up ripping a comic a bit more. I'm surprised they didn't bring out, what's his name? This one of these Marvel Treasury. That would have been brilliant. A Marvel Treasury of Logan's Run. I would have jumped joy with that. And of course, you got same time as Miss Marvel issue 1 there. So that's the whole. I love these ones. Surprised no one's ever brought out a book of a collection of these. Actually, that's one thing. Was there Twinkies? Weren't there, or something? Something like that. Anyway, but we got here the Cathedral Kill. You got all the storyline there, obviously showing the second one. This one is great as well. Cathedral Kill, of course, they've got the storyline there. Now, the story does have some variation of the film. So you've got lots of things that, of course, that you wouldn't do in a film. I mean, it's just, I think that's always going to be the way, isn't it? But it's still great. And I don't know how they actually did it, whether they got the script, certain early script or whatever, and done it from that, or there's just some variations they've added into it. But there's definitely some noticeable differences. I love, obviously, that hand there. That's just always great. And there's a lot of adverts in this. Now, this is one book I do not think will ever turn up in a collected edition. It's possible, but I've never seen one, nor do I think that, unless they get some sort of agreements sorted out, that we'll ever see one. It would be brilliant if they did. Who knows? Maybe one for the Lost Marvels books. Now you got, oh, I love that. And of course, you've got the Logan's letters as well, which I always enjoy. Logan's letters. And of course, you've got the cover there again. And you've got some quite notable issues there. You've got Crazy and What If Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four. And on to the next thing, which is issue 3. And you've got Farrah Fawcett Majors, etc. And of course, the shop where all things go slightly wrong. And of course, got some lovely bodybuilding adverts there. You can see there. It follows much the same idea, the storyline. Don't want to say too much. I'm certain you've seen the film. That's why it's one of those things that all that sort of scene obviously happens. You've got Francis and you've got Box, of course. Permanent Deadly Sanctuary. And then you, of course, got this, the Dreaded Sanctuary. Dreaded Sanctuary. The Ice World of Box. Again, just brilliant, brilliant artwork. And, of course, brilliant inking as well. Just love this. George Perez was always a favourite. And onto this. Every time I turn any of these pages, always ends up being pages of adverts. And, of course, then we get them going out into the world. And you can see, obviously, the bright sunlight, which, of course, they probably wouldn't have experienced at that point. And obviously, you have some scenes again. It's possible that it's like put a whole load of imagery there together, which is, of course, something that in comic books can do much easier than in film. And you, of course, got there the classic bit where you suddenly find Peter Ustinov there, sort of looking like Peter Ustinov anyway. On to the next one, which, of course, you've got the end run, the shattering conclusion. I don't want to show too much of that, but again, I'm certain you're well aware of the storyline of Logan, of things, what happens. Well, I've just even shown something there. However, to run again, the story went beyond it, and it's unfortunate they didn't continue on with this. It would have been brilliant, but this is issue 6, and it's just, I loved it. As soon as this came out, I thought, yes, this is just absolutely great that they've continued the story. And I thought it was, because, as I mentioned earlier, there was some bits that really bugged me, but this comic does at least address that, what happens, because it would be one of those things. What would you do when society collapses? People still need resources and things. I mean, this is the thing that I always, with Walking Dead, I quite often struggle with. I'm always looking at this thing saying, no, that wouldn't happen. How could that survive? Those things wouldn't, the people are going to places, or they've got cars and things and certain things, and you think, no, I'm not certain. How would this stuff work? Lots of things we rely on. And again, it's the same in their society. Things that the computer was running. So it's what would happen. And I think that was a missed opportunity with the second film. Would have been brilliant just to cover those sort of things. But of course, I don't think that would ever happen. But a Logan's Run TV series, would be absolutely superb that goes on for 12 seasons. Wouldn't that be good? Like Walking Dead. However, you've got obviously here, you've got the carousel here up for renewal. And of course, you've got the famous one. You've got the famous bit that apparently makes this comic a little bit more collectible. I better not rip it, had I? Unlike the first issue. So you got here, Final Flower, Thanos, good old Thanos story. And of course, Destroyer. And I love that one as well. And on to what was the final issue, the Cubs. And of course, this is from Dark They Were and Golden Eyed. This is my favourite comic shop. Absolutely great. Well, gosh, of course now, but back then, Dark They Were and Golden Eyed. And the official adaptation. I love the fact they got the official adaptation at the top, which is ridiculous because, of course, it's not. It's continued on. It's not the adaptation at all. But clearly, still, that was there in the banner, and you got the storyline with obviously there all the people. Now I don't know how much. Oh, you've got PCU stuff turning up in this as well. That's all. It's all good stuff. And there's problems obviously for Logan as well in the storyline, and that is it. And I think the last page they do have just a little blurb, renewal run. It says there, and that was that. We never ever got to see that. I don't know if it was drawn. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. And that is a run through of all my Logan books. So hope you found this of interest. Did you like the film, the Logan's film? Do you like the books? Do you like the comic books? Are you not really interested in Logan at all? Do you think there'll ever be another film? I mean, it'd be brilliant if they actually made another film. As long as they just don't make the same film, that would be terrible. Or maybe update it and just sort of make it modern Logan. It's possible. I guess they would have to have a little bit of initial sort of showing how it all gets to that point. But after that, you want the actual story. You don't want like the Running Man just doing it exactly the same. You don't want Logan's to be exactly the same. So that is Logan's Run. Great, great series for me. And hope you found this of interest. Bye.